Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. This is Meet Me in the Morning. This is Austin, and bringing back a classic here for you at the risk of violating the copyrights. But listen, I just felt the vibe this morning. What about you? I'm inside today because there's a cacophony of noises in the background with our landscape people. So I'm in here. If it quiets down, I'll get out to the balcony. It is a beautiful day. I'm excited, and I have a busy day lined up. What about you? I want to talk about tapping into your purpose today. I want to talk about this morning. How are you? Check in. You got to check in. Got to check in with yourself. What is your state of mind? Are you frantic? Are you getting ahead of yourself? Are you just, did you grab a moment this morning? Did you grab a moment? I know, hopefully the Facebook gods will smile on us and let us enjoy this song. Say the darkest hour is right before the dawn. I got some quotes for you this morning, and I want you to think about your purpose. Good morning, Jenna. Good morning, Mandy. I'm glad you're here. I'm grateful this morning that I have the opportunity to come on here and share with you things that matter to people who care. And that is you. You're here. Grab something of value today. Most people that will get this, they will think they're 1,000 miles away when it just might be one tweak. As Jim Rohn said, you may have 3 of the numbers, 2 of the numbers, and a combination that has 3. You just need one number. You just need one dial, but you might feel like you're 1,000 miles away. And you might feel that way about your purpose. I think when we get in and we talk about purpose, it's such a deep topic. I'm not here to figure that out with you today, although it's possible if you open yourself up to it. However, we can put some light on it. We can start to stoke the fires within and get things moving. Maybe there's some stuff that's stagnant that needs to get moving again inside of you. Thank you for the hearts. Good morning. Had a great conversation with Mandy yesterday. Mandy, you embody Flashpoint in every way, and you're experiencing it, and it's so beautiful to watch. And there's going to be so many more people who are going to be touched by you all through what we're doing here. I wanted to start with a couple quotes, and it has to do with knowing yourself. And here's one quote that I believe is going to hit home. And that is, we know so many things, but we don't know ourselves. Go into your own ground and learn to know yourself there. And what brought about this talk today, and I'm going to bring it up here as I move into this theme, is what is it that you go deep into? Most people live on the surface longing to go deep. However, if you're here, you may find areas that you just go deep into, right? It's like your day smoothing by, and all of a sudden you got the hip boots on. You're like up to your waist. And I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, you just got into something. You just like lost yourself. Like the time just flew by. And you're like, wow, what is it that you go deep into and you lose yourself in a good way? And you're immersed in the moment. You're enjoying it. What is it that you go deep into? And this going deep really has a duality, because we can go deep into something like that. But when it comes to purpose, you may need to go deep in a discovery phase. And here we go. This above all, to thine own self be true. William Shakespeare in Hamlet. And the previous quote that I shared we know so many things, but we don't know ourselves. Go into your own ground and learn to know yourself there. That was said by Meister Eckhart, who admittedly I haven't studied yet, but I grabbed the quote and I wanted to bring it to you and bring you value today because you can let me hear from you. Do you feel that most people are living on purpose? Do you feel that? Like, let me know. What do you think? In the people that you talk to, yes, Shakespeare from Hamlet. What is it, or what's your feeling? Are people living their purpose or not? Or is it that most men lead lives of quiet desperation? Most men and women lead lives of quiet desperation, seeking their purpose, longing for more meaning, disillusioned by their relationships. Let me jump into some more content here. Because on this day in history, Mandy, thanks for your feedback. I love it. I love bringing more context. And by the way, I'm inside today because, lots of noise out there, but I'm going to get out. I'm going to walk out there before we're done. Anyway, here we go. How you feeling? Check in. Here we go. On this day in history, some cool things that happened today that we can correlate to this. In 1858, Abraham Lincoln, on June 16th, and I love how this is recorded in history to the exact day. I love that. Imagine if you said something today, right? Today's June 16th. It's Wednesday. Imagine if you said something today, and 130 years from now, someone had it, and they said, on this day, Mandy Robinson said this. Well, this is Abraham Lincoln. Now, granted, he had a high position. I believe he had a high position at this time. I have to go back and look at my history notes. But here's the deal. He said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. He pulled that from the Old Testament. He paraphrased it, and he used it because at that time, what was happening? The U.S. was splitting apart. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, couple things. One, are you divided against yourself? Do you seem to fight yourself? Like you want to go in this direction, but you're like, oh no, I got to do this instead. And you're dividing yourself every single day. You're split down the middle. You're not following your heart's content or your heart's intent. You're coasting, or you're feeling this dichotomy of like, you feel like I have to go this way, but my heart longs to go this way, but I feel forced. Are you feeling that? Like, and I think a lot of people live that way. And I don't want you to live that way. See, and that's why this quote's great, even though Lincoln was talking about the collective. How often do we experience this as the individual? A house against itself cannot stand. I believe a lot of us are living a life where we're divided against ourselves. You're the only advocate. You're your best friend. You are what you have. Cultivate that. Get in alignment with yourself. And that's what we're talking about today with purpose. The other thing I want to share with you about purpose, Abraham Lincoln embodies purpose. Why? And most of you know Abraham Lincoln. Good morning, beautiful Nilda. I'm glad you're here. Abraham Lincoln failed at everything he did in politics until he was 52. And then he became president of the United States and changed the world. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. I want to tell you, I don't care how many times you failed. Your flashpoint is coming, and your flashpoint is laced with the polarity of the exact opposite: failure, tragedy, misgivings, and then flashpoint. You see the perspective you're getting here? This is not sugarcoat. This is your flashpoint. This is the paradox of life. Your flashpoint is baked in or polarized against incredible failure and maybe even tragedy. And it's going to be in the book that I have coming out. I talked to Mandy about this. Austin for president in 2 years. Mandy, you're not the only person that said that. President for me, it's not something I would ever aspire to, but I'm open because I believe in my purpose that I focus on me. I do believe the divine flows through. It's almost like you're the instrument. The divine can sometimes take over and play. And it's a beautiful note when you're in synchronicity with the divine or the universe. and you're not divided against yourself, thinking, I should do this, I should do that, but I want to do that. And there's this constant division. Flow, baby, flow. You are made to flow and grow. Flow and grow. Say that. I'm going to flow and I'm going to grow. That's what you're like that. If you think about it, if you think about nature, the tree just flows and grows, right? And we need to capture that energy for ourselves. We need to capture that energy for ourselves. Let's continue on because this is going to be chock full of great stuff today. I got some, again, talked about Abraham Lincoln, failed, established his purpose, stuck with it, regardless of what society said. He knew he was in here in his heart. And think about, when you think about Abraham Lincoln's life, the paradox, the woman he married, like, she was what he needed to extract out of him what was required. Very difficult, right? Very difficult. Here we go. In 1963, and I love this, coming from an unlikely place, the first woman in space. Cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space. And not only was she the first woman in space, she spent more time in space than anyone to that point. Now, that sounds cool, right? Let me give you some more context. She was a peasant, born as a peasant in communist Russia. She scaled and became the first woman in space. In a culture that said, no, this is your life. This is all you get. She happened to jump out of a parachute at age 22. She didn't jump out of a parachute. She jumped out of a plane with a parachute. And that single bold act made her a candidate for space because upon re-entry, they needed someone who could jump 20,000 feet and return safely to Earth. First woman in space. Purpose. What is it that you go deep into? Now, at that time in 1963, a woman jumping out of a plane with a parachute, I would say that wasn't a common thing. She went deep into what she loved. Think about going deep. Think about going deep and coming up with the light. Number 3, on this day in history in 1903, Henry Ford, or I should say Ford Motor Company, was incorporated, along with 12 other stockholders. Purpose. When Henry Ford was 15 years old, his father gave him a pocket watch. That sounds like a cool story, doesn't it? It is, but there's more. He took it apart and put it back together. And then he started taking things apart and putting them back together, taking things apart, putting them back together. He went deeper into what he did. And so now he's a repairman, and now he evolves. And of course, the rest is history. I mean, Ford Motor Company changed history. And you got to think about it. I mean, I think most people look through history and they go, okay, Ford motor car. But it wasn't just the motor car. It was what he did, his ability to produce these automobiles at a price that the common man could afford. Do you understand that? And I see this in Tesla right now because the vehicles they're coming out with, they would normally sell for a high ticket. Elon Musk has brought the price down because he understands. He looked at history. He studied. Do you think he studied Henry Ford? Yes. Do you think he studied Benjamin Franklin? Yes, he did. And that's how this stuff happens, through studying these people. So Henry Ford, another one, went deeper to find his purpose. Now I'm going to go to the Huffington Post here. I read an article and it says this, because this is where a lot of us can get stuck. And I'm going to grab your shares, type in the word purpose. Let's type it in. Let's make a declaration. Because once you establish your purpose, it's like you catch fire. You catch fire, and fire must burn. It must light in a good way. And if you're not on fire, you're not connected to your purpose. Every time you connect to your purpose, fire is set. You burn, and next thing you know, you're living it, and you feel that fire. Thank you, Jenna. Purpose, yes, absolutely. Here's what I want to share with you. We can't think our way into our life's purpose and passion. We have to do our way in. We have to do our way in. Henry Ford taking apart the watch, putting it back together. The Russian cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova jumping out of a plane with a parachute. Talk about a flashpoint. Boom, setting the stage for her to be the first woman in space. We must do our way in. This means taking steps toward what you want. I don't know what I want. Start with what you think you want. Start with go back and reflect. Where do I go deep? Like unthinkingly, I'm in it. Like I'm in it. Like I'm immersing myself in it. And I feel when I do it. You see the key? I feel the fire is set. And removing those things in your life that you don't want. What is it that's in your life that you don't want? That's pulling you down, that causes, listen to your body. Your body's like, it tells you, it communicates your facial expressions, how you feel. It communicates. Look in the mirror, do these things. And there's three things that they say. I added a fourth one, and they say, explore more action. Become a discoverer. Try different things. Like imagine you went to an emporium and they had all these clothes from all throughout history, and you could go in and try them all on. You'd be like, and they had mirrors everywhere, really good lighting. And you could go in and try all the stuff on, the colors, the different things. And you could just have fun doing that. What would that feel like to be able to do that, right? You're trying on all these things. Make that your discovery. Make that your discovery and have fun with it. Drop from your head to your heart. And I would say that differently, connect your head and your heart. Most people are here, right? Trying to at least this was me a lot of the time, trying to think my way out of it. And I talked about the distinction, right? There's an anxious thinking and there's a free-flowing thinking. But I think the free-flowing thinking happens when we connect heart and head. And that leads me to my fourth point is stillness. Stillness and breath connect head and heart. There's science behind it. They come in sync. When they're in sync, you can go deeper. You're in a more relaxed state and things change. If you haven't started to practice stillness, start today. Today. Get still. Breathe. We need to talk about this more because it's the space. It's the space, right? It's the space. Like this space in front of this, without the space, imagine if there was no space here. Imagine if all in the universe, there was no space right here. My hand couldn't go through it. I need this space in order for my hand to move through it. You need this space in your life for your purpose to move through. So we need these different things. We need to be in action as a discovering process, like trying on the different outfits. We need to connect our head and our heart. We need to break up with the one thing. And this happens in relationships too. It's the one thing. It's the soulmate. We put all this pressure. Let that go. Play with it. Your purpose can manifest in different ways. And the more you open up and the more you move forward, the universe will continually reflect back and will augment everything. But it starts with you. It starts with getting out of the overthinking. It starts with everything we're talking about today. And then create stillness. Create that stillness. Let me grab some of your shares today. And I'm excited because I got a talk today I'm doing a talk on wellness later today at 12 noon. And just going deeper into the things I'm sharing with you. Let me grab your shares this morning and put a smile on your face. Okay. Shakespeare, know thyself, to thine own self be true. Nature is emergent. You can hear my guys out here now with the weed eaters. Know thyself first. So Jenna is busy today. I'm focusing on one task at a time. That's a great plan. One thing at a time. Yes, I haven't played the song in a while. Hopefully I won't get banned with the copyright issues. Good morning. And what else do we have? Anilda's with us. Good morning, Anilda. We're glad you're here. Okay, someone will be doing that. Remember, you're in Coburg Archives now. That's right. Thank you to Mandy bringing the Flashpoint book to one of the meetings. We are in the meetings minutes in, is it a province? I don't know what they call them up there. A city of Coburg. How beautiful is that? That because of that, Flashpoint is now permanently recorded in the Coburg City history in their minutes. You know, it's amazing. It's humbling, really. Austin for president in 2 years. No thanks. Right now, I would not consider that. Your favorite president aside, so Abraham Lincoln is your favorite president aside from JFK. Yes, that's a deep topic. You know, JFK as a president, incredible, incredible man, story behind it. It's beyond human reasoning, deep into what ignites the fire inside your soul. And I think that your purpose is like a pilot light that's lit. It's there. Even when you don't know it's there, right? It might get really dim, but it's there. And I believe it's always there for us to go in and reignite that flame. It's always there. And I really want that for people. And that's what we're creating with Flashpoint, because without purpose, what do you have? You're just trying to think your way into different things. When your purpose comes through, it's like that flame ignites and you catch fire, and you can't stop a fire, right? Well, you can put water on it, but it's hard to stop a raging fire when it's going, right? Never judge a book by its cover. Open it up and dig for the real gems. Dig for the real gems. And then purpose. Explore taking action. You'll soon find that touched your soul. Right. Some action. And again, I think we need to look at what you're already doing. What have you gone deep into? Where do you go deeper than anyone else? And I believe that's your gift to the world. Wherever you go deeper than anyone else, and if you're not going deep into something else, there's something that's waiting there. There's something that pulls you to go deeper. Something about this really attracts me. I want to go deeper into it. You are so in sync. We must act on faith. Faith. I wrote something down on faith yesterday, and I don't have it in front. Maybe I do have it in front of me. Hold on. Thank you, Anilda, for bringing that up. Let me see if I have it in this notebook. Yes, I did. This was just a random thing, but faith equals I fully accept what I aspire right now, void of delays and blocks. I fully accept what I aspire right now, void of delays and blocks. I accept I have a purpose. I accept that my purpose is coming through. Any resistance to that, if I think I don't have a purpose, if I feel like I'm far off, that's the blocks. Consciousness, draw light to the blocks, let them go. Right now, fully accept what you aspire. Right now, void of delays and blocks. You may say, I don't know what I aspire. Stillness, action. Avoid the pressure of the one thing. Action. Let me go back to my notes. Stillness, action, trying on the different outfits. Being open to something that comes up. Avoid the overthinking, right? Get into the action part. Connect your head and your heart and allow these things to come through. So I'm going to end this today. Let me just grab final shares. It's interesting how we use 50% of our blood oxygen when we're overthinking. Imagine how much more we can utilize when we act from a calm, heart-centered place. Very key. That's why we need to add that stillness. And just think, when you're up here, typically your anxiety, and that's what Mandy's talking about, because your breathing gets shallow. That's why I said this on a number of these videos. That's when you most need to go into the stillness. When the pressure heats up, go be still, because now you're tapping into the deeper part of yourself. When you get back into action, it's a different energy you're bringing. You're tapping the fullness of who you are, and you're bringing that into the next conversation, whatever you're doing, because it's all energy, and it's always reflecting back to us, whether we're aware of it or not. Wishing you blessings in your presentation. Thank you very much. I assent that I have purpose. I have purpose. You have purpose. If you're seeing this for the first time, whether you're playback, you have a purpose. That in and of itself, that is powerful. And then there's a flashpoint moment where it's a visceral moment where you're going to feel it. It's a validation point. And many of you are seeking that validation point, but you're putting too much pressure on it. Go back to the things we talked about here. Get into fun, playful action. Do those things. Connect your head and your heart. Create that stillness and watch it unfold, because it will, when you least expect it. All right. This is Meet Me in the Morning. This is Austin. I'm going to play this for you again because I love this song. And we'll go out with this. Have a fantastic day today. It's Wednesday, June 16th. This is Flashpoint. Your turnaround story starts here. This is Meet Me in the Morning. Do something to discover your purpose today. Bye for now.